Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. And today we uh we have a special guest that we're going to talk to for a little bit. It's somebody that, well, pretty much everybody at least knows her name, and most people will know her story. So we're not going to talk much about her past. We're going to talk about what is going on in the future. We're going to talk about the roads of Chelsea Manning. How are you doing, Chelsea?
I'm doing pretty good. It's
Uh,
it's been a busy month. It's Pride Month, so I've been it's been breakneck every single day for the last 3 weeks has been something, and now the big week in New York is coming up. So I've been stretched doing a bunch of things.
well, I appreciate you making time for this.
Yeah.
Um, so now, where are we headed from here? We've heard that you're going to be on YouTube. You're starting a YouTube channel.
I am. So yeah, so this has been going on for a minute. I am producing long form science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so STEM field focused long form videos on big issues, like big ticket items that are like overarching, like cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, right? And so
Mhm.
these videos are um, they're not what I think people are expecting from me, because I think a lot of people are expecting me to like go into like the debate lord space or into video essays, but I'm actually a STEM lord,
Mhm.
so I wanna really get into the areas that I'm really fascinated by. That also while also taking it from like a more from a more nuanced like political perspective. So, I'm not trying to sell you the next gaming processor. I'm not sponsored by, IBM, Watson, or anything like that. I am simply trying to educate people on technical topics that affect society widely and that are widely talked about, but that I am sensing uh, are not like understood in like a very simple technical sense. And so there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of disinformation, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of rumors. Uh, and that comes from all sides of the political spectrum. Left, right, moderate, agnostic and apathetic people all seem to have a fundamental misunderstanding, or a limited understanding of these kinds of topics. And I just want to get into the weeds of how stuff works. So it's think Bill Nye the Science Guy, but from a 2021 uh, social critical perspective. Um, so there's instead of me sitting around talking about the consequences of it, which I do. I regularly speak on these topics. But one of the problems that I've encountered constantly is that I get asked a lot of the same questions again and again about how does cryptocurrency work? How does artificial intelligence work, right? As opposed to like how do they impact society? And you can't really answer the second part, how they impact society, until you understand that, oh, actually these technologies are not bad. They're used for bad things, and they have consequences, but the technology itself is sort of an empty vessel,
Mhm.
and can be used for other things. So, or uh, so that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to just sort of educate people on these topics that are broadly talked about at an
Well,
eighth grade level as well. That's like one of the rules that I have, is making sure that I'm not, because there are videos out there that talk about these subjects, but they are at the graduate and post grad level, and they're usually like they're usually like videos of university level lectures, um, where it gets more into the weeds of the technical stuff. But it doesn't have to be that way.
right, right. And that's one of the things when you're talking about tech literacy in the United States. it's there's a wide gap between people who are very technically literate and those that are more like me. Need somebody to help get them on a Discord call.
Right.
So the I could definitely see it being of value, and breaking it down to somebody more my audience, my level of understanding when it comes to this stuff, it would definitely going to be a valuable service. Um, but so when you say you're going to talk about the politics of it, I'm curious how that's going to happen.
It's subtle. It's not, I am not making it the centerpiece. So we spend like with my first video on cryptocurrency, which is basically 85 to 90% done. I've been slowed down on it mostly due to my editor having computer problems. Um, the video, like, we filmed it and we play around with Skittles, we play around with playing cards. There's some references to like Texas Hold'em, you know, there's video game references, there's a lot of film homages, so like we're mostly general audience stuff, right? This is mostly general audience material. Where I think the subtle bits are is later on in the video when we talk about the consequences of these things. So it's not front loaded, So I make it clear that like I have a perspective on this, and it's an opinion, but it's not the centerpiece. And I'm also a little critical of some people who are not literate but have the right perspective, but they're like over, like for instance with cryptocurrency, right? There's a lot
Mhm.
of people who think that cryptocurrency mining, which is a process that involves a lot of processing power, a lot of computation, a lot of heat, a lot of usage of fuel, fossil fuel. A lot of people kind of exaggerate the scale of this, and make it seem like it's a huge dent in sort of greenhouse emissions. I kind of like poke a hole in that a little bit because it's not a huge dent. It's not great, but also it's, these things can be avoided, right? Like there are methods and there are means that where we can use cryptocurrency and ledgers without necessarily doing without necessarily using all of these different, resources and stuff. And there's also like, there's also like discussion about like how renewable energy is used a lot in the cryptocurrency mining space.
Mhm.
So like there's counterpoints to it. So I'm not taking like a firm hard position. I'm trying to lay it all out and let the viewer decide, but also like make it clear that like I do have a slight slant and a perspective, but like it's not front loaded, and it's not the point of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything today is political in some way. There's always going to be a
Right.
tie back. So I mean, it has to be addressed. Um, it's just, yeah, that's a line I don't know that I'd want to walk. That sounds like it's going to be hard, to be honest. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, the further you get into it, you're gonna take heat from everybody on
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, in the political space, I think so. But again, like this is like, because I operate mostly in the tech space,
mm,
offline, right? I have my day job. Like I'm literally just doing my day job, and I'm turning it into content. That's what I'm doing. So my day job usually consists of reading a lot of white papers, reading a lot of uh, you know, going line by line through code, doing like a security assessments for like workflows of small to medium organizations, looking at looking at cryptography platforms in their early state before they're ready to go. So I do a lot of this work, so that uh, everybody in the everybody that's around me that I'll be seeing, at the conference, at sort of the tech conferences, all recognize all this material and know it pretty well. But it's just it's not being, what's happening, I think, is that it's not being packaged in a way to where people will one, have an interest in it, and two, will actually understand it.
Right.
Because I don't want to just throw figures at people or throw charts and graphs at people. This is almost entirely um, on location film shooting, experiments in different places. I think Nova in the mid '90s, or like public, there's like, I think that the lack of public broadcasting, and the lack of sort of, because like History Channel and Discovery Channel back in the day, whenever I grew up, was a lot more filled with like educational material as opposed to like, entertainment.
Right.
So I need to like walk that line of like providing, useful information that is public broadcasting quality educational material that is for a general audience, without getting into the flashiness, right? So it's hard. It's hard for me to do, and I've never done this before,
Mhm.
and I have a ton of help, and that's been really a huge breakthrough in this. Is that even though like it's taken me longer to produce the video than I anticipated, because I plan on starting this project back in June of last year, like during quarantine. Um, that's whenever I came up with this idea. And so it's been a journey over the last year to just produce the first and second videos. But throughout that journey, I've had help, and I've learned a ton of stuff that I had no idea before. Like I couldn't open it. Like, I'm a technical person, and I do photography, and I know how to film stuff. Um, but I opened up a video editor for the first time, I think July of last year, and I'm pretty technically savvy, and I understand a lot about software, but I was completely lost. So I paused everything and I took film classes. I just, I set aside my ego and I said, I don't know how to do something. I need to learn. And so I took film classes, and I have like I have a professional editor who's a supervisory editor to like walk me through and guide me through the process of how to produce a documentary grade, you know, this is the production value on this is pretty high, I would say, which has the downside of it requiring time.
Right.
And it's also been a learning curve for me, because when I started doing this, I like had no idea what I was doing, and like the quality's just been going up and up and up. But obviously, I haven't produced a product for anybody yet, but it's paying off, and I want to promise people here who are Patreon subscribers that that it is the growth of the Patreon has absolutely been pivotal in upping the quality and the scale in which I and the production grade of this. And also, like, I have an external fact checker now, so I have somebody who will go over my video and be like, and check to make sure that I'm not saying or doing anything that is easily disprovable or wrong, or misinformed or anything like that. So even just little things like that, like the Patreon, the Patreon is really helping to smooth over some of these things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there's definitely a learning curve. When we started the second channel, that actually it's not even like high production value,
Right.
Um, I'm thinking, well, it's the videos are going to be like 5 times as long, so we should be able to get them done in a day. That's not how that worked out, like, at all.
No.
There's a lot more to it when you start filming outside of a controlled space.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm curious, so you're definitely looking towards educational content aimed at a general audience. But when it comes to YouTube, you have to like cultivate that
Yeah.
audience. I'm curious, what is your like ideal demographic? Who are you trying to reach?
I'm trying to honestly, the way I see it as I'm trying to reach me when I was at 14 years old.
Nice.
So that's because it's content that I care about. It's content that I'm interested in, and that, even though I now am at the level that I understand it, I also know whenever I was curious about this stuff and when I was fascinated by this stuff, and I want to like get that spark. Like I want to have that. I want to feed that, fulfill that curious need that I had as a teenager and as a young adult, and I want to fill in that space because I feel like I feel like the infographics don't really do the job. So I don't have e- everything that I'm doing is real world stuff. Like there's not gonna like one of the rules that I have when I was creating this project was to not have any animations or because I know that's something that goes viral on YouTube and that there's already a lot of, but
Mhm.
I don't think it has the same impact or effect in certain terms of like educational value as um, actually going to some place and going on location and doing much more fun things like it's more like the Mentos it's more like dropping the Mentos in a Coke bottle kind of thing, like the fun stuff and showing like how fun that this learning journey can be and this educational journey can be, as opposed to like feeling like you're being walked through a classroom. It's a
Well,
field trip. Now, like this whole video series is a field trip as opposed to a classroom.
so you're going to be Miss Frizzle.
Yeah, exactly. It's Magic School Bus time.
Oh, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Um, and okay, so
And,
you're
and and to get to your other point, YouTube is a very hard space to get into now, and I'm late to the game, and I know that, and I know that it may not be like viral successful, right? I'll be fine. Like I will be fine with like 50,000 views on per video. That's fine. I don't. I'm hoping that sort of my other social media can drive traffic to it, because I don't think I'm going to get on the recommended, right? And I'm aware of that. But also like the Patreon subscribers are super are they'll be watching it, and so even if it doesn't immediately draw traffic, the other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this timeless as opposed to timely. So, I want to make sure that you can go back 5 years from now and still learn a significant amount, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm not making it so timely and so and I've actually pulled out a couple things that were timely from an earlier thing. I actually went back and I reshot a couple portions to make it a little less specific to 2020, 2021.
right. Well, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Just from being on this side and looking at the analytics, I
Yeah.
can tell you the videos that I have that are evergreen, they're the ones that they're applicable whenever. It's like
Yeah.
the dry information about police training or terrorism or whatever. It that is those are the videos that end up catching views and
Yeah.
stay just a little bit each month. But if that's also what contributes to long-term channel growth. And you're right, it doesn't sound like what you're going to do is going to pop viral
Yeah.
initially, but it does sound like something that could be built into something that matters, which is
Yeah.
a little more important. Um,
And I understand it's a risk. I'm taking a huge leap of faith here. And I don't know. Part of me is just doing this for myself because like one of the things that I've always wanted to do is do documentaries. But like it's not the same world anymore where you can like pitch it to a studio like in the 90s and the 2000s and get on to the sort of the track or going to like the film festivals and stuff. So um and I've had to scale back. I've had to scale back this project a little bit, mostly just so I can start to do so I can make sure that I have consecutive videos, because I've already started on my second one, even though I haven't even released the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. We had 3 videos in the can before we released the first one over on the second channel. And that was mainly because we thought initially, I was like, well, we'll do these 3. And then by the time the third one gets released, we'll have the next one ready. That's
Yeah.
not what happened. So yeah, I can definitely tell you that's the right way to go about it. Take your time getting a base of content before you start releasing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I'm already doing that. And I just started I started a TikTok. I started a TikTok last week. First video, and this is on a separate subject, right? So, like if you go to my if you go to my Twitch channel, like if you go to my Twitter, if you go to my Twitch, if you go to my TikTok, they're all different material. So, but they're all they're sort of interwoven, like, uh because they're all different aspects of what I'm interested in. So I'm going to be doing a bit more peppy, quick uh, coverage of more timely things on TikTok. Like right now, I did some like city prepper protest gear, everyday carry bag that I have that I actually carry around every day when I go out in the city. And that that popped off because TikTok. I mean, TikTok is brand new, so the algorithms are they're a little bit more skewed in a different way. So
mhm.
it's easy for things to go viral, but my main focus is getting the long form videos, because I feel like those are those are where you're going to get the payoff of you're actually going to learn something significant. Because on TikTok, I just end up like with a bunch of questions, which is great, because then I end up with future points of material. Like, there's a bunch of questions about why I why I put like why I wrap duct tape around a lighter or a pen. And I'm just like, because then you have a roll of duct tape.
Right.
Like little tricks like that, that I know I can like provide uh quickly. But that's not the same thing as like going over a huge broad topic that you will never be able to explain to big concepts like artificial intelligence and like AI or cryptocurrency in a TikTok video. It's just, you can't do it. You have to. It is at least 30 minutes of material, and that's moving at a fast pace. Like I probably have 150 hours of footage just for just for my first video. And luckily it was some overlap, so I managed to like, cannibalize some of that footage for my second video. But which is why I keep all that which is why I keep all of that footage on this gigantic several terabyte drive.
Yeah, the B-roll footage that you'll be able to use over and over again. That should be
Yeah.
yeah. Um so the prepper stuff, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it that, the whatever you emergency preparedness stuff. This is that going to blend into the tech channel at all, or are you
Yeah,
keeping
they
it all
completely
separate?
overlap. They completely overlap. And the reason why they completely overlap is because uh I do this work every day, and it's not just like I live in New York City, which is not like the woods, so I don't like, like I'm not covering like a bug out bag like
Right.
to go out and do survival, right? This is more like practical stuff that you actually need in the city, and that people might need. um but also like there's like little bits and pieces where it's like also mine, it's my personal one. So like I have a Raspberry Pi in there and I use it, and I'm gonna go, and that gives me a chance to like have material for future TikToks. I'm like, me showing how you can use a Raspberry Pi to secure yourself while you're traveling, which is what I do, or to just, do like side projects and stuff, which is a technical thing. And I get it. Like most people are going to watch that and be like, ooh, interesting. That seems fun. So there is an overlap, but also like, I'm not going to be able to explain in 20 to 40 seconds how to set this up and how to do this stuff. But I'm hoping that people who are interested in these things that I sort of like gloss over very quickly and on TikTok will gravitate towards the YouTube channel. So I am trying to find that audience overlap.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I mean, to me, it sounds like you've got a good plan for a good channel. Uh, so, do you have any idea of when you're going to release the first one? Do you have like a soft date yet that you hope for it to be out yet?
I was trying to get it before the beginning of June. I was trying to get it done. I struggled to do that because basically I've had to mothball everything because of Pride. Pride Week in New York, or Pride Month in New York is, is this is the first time that I've been able to go outside as much as I have. There's been a lot of events. I have a lot of commitments. Also, my day job picked up this month, so I'm I'm not making enough money yet on the Patreon to survive off of it. So I still have to do day job work. So I had to. So once that day job project is done, which should be beginning of July, and then Pride Month will be over, I can start to get into it. So I'm expecting this to be like middle to late July. Definitely before the conference, before I start having to do conferences in autumn, because then my travel is going to pick up again, and I will have less time to interface with my editor. And we're going to get like it is now a hard time because I have no room for error. And we'll be, but even if it's like 95%, we'll probably release it because where it is now, it's probably in a state that is that I could release it, but I would not feel comfortable yet.
Right.
Which I mean, my maybe it's my perfectionism that's getting in the way. But also like I want to be cautious and wait for the fact checker as well, because I don't want to get my first video wrong
Right.
and get like somebody who picks, because somebody will, I mean, this because you produce
Yeah.
content. You could have a 30-minute video and get one fact wrong in one sentence and have the entire video like spun as being horrible and wrong and terrible. So I can't do that. I have no room for error.
Right. I almost re-recorded an entire video today because I mispronounced a general's name. Because I'm like, somebody that's going to turn into a thing, and then I'm just like, it'll be all right. But eventually, you get to that point. But when it comes to YouTube, yeah, you either have to start off with like a busted camera and audio only coming out of the left channel and get better, or you have to have it right. Like the audience is
Yeah.
very unforgiving. If you set low expectations, that's cool because you're improving. But if you're setting them high, you've
Yeah.
got to meet that.
Yeah. And I'm an established name. I have the equipment. I have, I'm pretty established doing other things. So, the expectation is pretty high. And unlike with the Twitch channel, right? Like the Twitch channel, I like, the Twitch channel actually helped me a lot in terms of like producing these videos, right? Because like it taught me a bunch of things that I didn't know about, like just the practical realities of sort of doing live streaming is just so hard. And
It's exhausting.
it makes recording and editing YouTube video, like an ambitious YouTube video, so much easier. So, I'm feeling pretty I'm feeling much more confident knowing that I've been doing Twitch for a while. And the expectations were pretty low on that. Like I started with a webcam and I had terrible audio, even though I have a good sound card and even though I have a good camera. Like it was just like learning how to like get the codecs right, learning what the audience wanted, getting and then like getting a little bit of income to sort of allow me to set up a more professional studio, because beforehand it was just me at with a white wall, like with just a webcam, and playing games that you could barely see because nothing was like optimized right. So it's been a learning curve, like and yeah, I think that now that I've established that sort of branding on Twitter, on Twitch, and now with the TikTok, like I really I think that expectations are high, which is one of the reasons why I've been hesitating to like to like try to release something too soon, because it's been ready-ish for at least a month and a half now.
Yeah, I could definitely, I could see it. I didn't have any of that pressure, you know,
Yeah.
like it was a joke, so it was okay if it was all messed up. Um, but I can definitely see where there's going to be a lot more critique. There's going to be a lot more just general. There are going to be people who want you to fail.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have that going against me.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
This and I've already had media inquiries for like long form pieces about a video about a YouTube channel that hasn't even reached 2,000 subscribers and it has 0 videos, right? Because like that's how high the expectations are. Is
yeah,
I'm getting press requests for something I haven't even done yet.
right.
So
Yeah,
and I obviously I haven't accepted those, but like, like people have heard about this, and like I'm getting emails and calls from reporters wanting to do like long form, both long and medium form pieces on this. So like yeah, there's like, and that just gives me bubble guts. Like it just like I can't, I just it's a lot of pressure, and I really don't want to mess it up. And and I think that being trans is like another aspect of this that makes it sort of complicated, because like um it has nothing to do with the content, but it's going to be discussed as well. So like there's going to be like discourse, and I've seen this with like video essayists, in sort of the YouTube space, because I know that there's already going to be, I know that a significant chunk of people are going to be people who follow me, who are a part of the trans community and the queer community, and so like even though it has nothing to do, like the material has nothing to do with that, just sort of me being me is going to like have some complexities and some complicated things, and I have to like look out for that too. I have to be cognizant and careful, because like it's not stuff that I cover, but like how I present myself and how I cover this stuff, and the words that I use are going to be like hyper analyzed. So
oh, definitely, definitely, because you're, whether you want it to be, whether you wanted this or not, you are definitely somebody that is a, I don't know, icon, or you're representative of the trans community to the entire United States.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, everything you do
no
is going to be
pressure.
analyzed, but I mean, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be
Um,
it's gonna be fine. Like I know it's gonna be fine, and then it's gonna be fine because thankfully I have a wide community of people to get me started with this. I have somebody helping with editing. I took classes, and I have classmates now. Um, there is a I hadn't even, there are things that I hadn't even thought of. Like people who know lighting, people who know makeup, you know stuff that I hadn't really thought of, right? I've set up a couple video crews, like ad hoc video crews, like with grips and sound people. I've learned, like it's been the community that has really made this project possible, and it's also benefited the community because like I've been able to like give. I've been able to like give a bunch of people who have been struggling with during the pandemic something to do and something to get a little bit of pay, even if it's just for like a day or two, like film job. It's been able to like help them and then help me in the process. So like this has been a wild journey. Like producing these videos have been a journey for me personally already, and I would love, you know, I, I kind of regret now, like not doing a little bit of like behind the scenes stuff for some of the stuff because it's just been such a fascinating journey, for me. as like a content as like a content producer, like as I've like learned how to direct a a project. Like this is I know I'm not trying to set the expectations too high, on my end, but like it's been, like this has been a journey. It's been hard. I've been out there, and I got, and I'm not gonna lie. This has been a good excuse to like get out of out of the apartment too.
Mm,
Like to film on location, to go out to the to go out to the beach, or to go out downtown, or to go out to I went out to the middle of I went out to an oil, because we were talking about fossil fuels. So I'm like, well, let's go to an oil refinery, like, and like not let's go all in. And then there was a whole journey of like of getting harassed by security because we, like you don't need a permit to shoot from the sidewalk, but that doesn't mean that ExxonMobil likes having you there. And so they harassed my film crew while filming B-roll, and then I showed up, and they were just like, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And just like it was just this whole uh like I don't know. This is fat. Like I don't I don't know what to say. It's been filming on location is scary, and it's always it's always a chaotic mess, which has made this YouTube video all the more exciting for me personally to just do. I don't care if it doesn't go anywhere, if the algorithm doesn't pick it up, if only a couple people watch, if only a couple hundred people watch it, that's fine, because I like it's made my 2021. Like just making this video has been like a journey.
I definitely think you're going to get more views than you're anticipating.
Well,
um,
I'm not trying to set a goal, or
mm,
and and I think that's the thing, is if I get one person who is more educated because of this video, it's worth it. That's how I see this. Like I don't need to be the top YouTuber. I don't need to be the most recommended, and it's never going to happen. Like I just the way the algorithm works, and sort of the realities of things. But
mhm.
if I can just like give a small inkling of, because like I only needed, I only needed PBS, or some really good people in my life to educate me on certain things in school, and when I was in the military, to change my whole life perspective and make me who I am. And like I view it, it's sort of the like saving a one starfish that's like on on the beach kind of thing, where if it's, you save that, like sure, like there's millions of them, but if you can save that one, it means a lot to that one. And that's how I feel. It's like I would feel, there are actually, and it's funny because like I've been watching YouTube since 2006, right? I was like one of the first people to post to YouTube. Um, I actually had a video. I had a video log series that got me in trouble when I was in the military, because I was not supposed to be doing that apparently, but I had started earlier than that. And so when I was producing this thing, um, uh, I it was just me with a camera, uh, and it was like the lowest quality, couldn't see anything, couldn't hear anything. But like I've been in this space for a very long time, like as a consumer, um, and small video producers in the late 2000s, and yeah, in the late 2000s, had a huge impact on me later, you know, um, in my sort of journey in life. And I still can, I can still think of, I can still see them, and I can still think of them like off the top of my head. And they don't post anymore, and some of them, those channels have been deleted. And so small channels had a big impact on me. So like I don't care if it's a small channel. Who cares?
Right. That's from what you're talking about. That doesn't the size doesn't even sound like that's part of your goal,
No,
and it doesn't have to be either.
no.
I mean, as far as for the channel to be successful.
Well, and I know that I haven't produced anything yet, but it's already successful because of the Patreon. Because it's a self-sustaining project. We have no bills to pay. We have covered everybody's costs. Everybody's been paid so far. The fact checker and the video editor are the last bits of pay for the project for the initial costs of the first video. And we're already budgeting for the later stages of the second video. So yeah, like the Patreon's already successful. I already have a couple hundred subscribers, and that's all it took. It's all it took to make this a self-sustaining project. And
Right.
it's not enough to support me personally yet, but I imagine that threshold will not take long to pass, and that'll already be a huge success. Like if I can get 800 Patreon subscribers, then I will not only be able to support the channel, I will be able to support myself.
Hmm. Right. And that's the Patreon in general for YouTube is it's critical because you never know how your videos are going to do. You never know if there's going to be any revenue from that end of it.
Yeah,
But the Patreon, like my Patreon, that pays for like our crew, like that.
yeah,
Like that's how we were able to start the on the location stuff.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that it's a big part of it. But I actually think from the way you're describing as far as the length of the videos and what you're going to be talking about, YouTube really, really, really cares about watch time.
yeah,
The more of a percentage of that video they watch, the better it is, the more it's going to get recommended. And if you're talking about if you can get an 80% watch rate on a 40-minute video, yeah, they're going to recommend it a lot.
yeah.
um,
Yeah, well, that's what
even if
happened
it
with
is
my
you,
TikTok.
you
That's what
know?
happened. That's what happened with my TikTok. Like I've only done one TikTok video that I've put up. I'm gonna put up a second TikTok video after, literally in the hours after we're done here, um, on my lighter arrangement, like just putting duct tape on a lighter. And like I found that the watch like the if I go to the stats, the watch time is like already high enough to where it's going viral on TikTok. And I've just never produced a YouTube video. So, I've had video. So I've, no, I have for a political campaign, we had a YouTube channel. So, but that was a different thing because that got news coverage, and that was where. So that I don't know anything about the analytics of that. That was a totally a campaign thing. It was mothballed at the end of the campaign because like it's a separate institution with separate roles, funded by by political donors and everything else, and
Mhm.
all of those receipts and everything had to be like closed off and everything like that. So I have had like a YouTube channel before, but it was like for a very specific purpose. And we got a lot of press coverage, and that was I think we got almost 1 million views just from press coverage alone for my campaign video. So like that, like success on a video in terms of views doesn't always mean success of a channel either.
Right.
So
Right.
like you can have one big video, and I've definitely had big things that are on YouTube. Uh, you know the 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 thing I'm well known for. There's a famous video that was posted on YouTube that has, I think, like something like 40 million views at this point. So it doesn't that doesn't views on YouTube does not equal the community that comes with it.
Right.
So yeah, I could make that's what I'm focused on. I'm very much more focused on viewers and on community because I don't, I've had stuff go viral before. I've had stuff become a big deal before, and I see no inherent value in that from an artistic perspective.
So we've been talking for about 45 minutes now. I'm going to ask you a question I ask pretty much everybody that I
Uh-huh.
interview, and given the fact that you know you are you and my audience is my audience, it's going to carry a lot of weight. So again, no pressure. If you could tell people one thing about how they could change the world, how they could make the world better, one thing that they should do or could do, what would it be?
All right. So I have a quick story.
Okay.
When I was in jail, one of the things that I had was I posted a motivational reminder that I would wake up and read every single day. And this emotional reminder, one of those things was that, you know, do one, like every day you can do one thing to change the world and make the world a better place, right? Just for it, and it's a small goal. It's a simple goal, and it can be the tiniest thing, right? It can just be and yeah, it sounds like foofy like motivational speaker stuff, but like it really did, it built up over time, and it kept me motivated and it kept me going, and that you not everybody is in a position to do the big stuff,
Right.
but everybody's in a position to do the small stuff. So do what you can in the space that you're in, because you can make a difference with what's right in front of you if you just look around. And that's what I tell people, because I can't tell you like what, is it throwing your trash into recycling? Maybe. Is it being kind to your neighbor, or like doing a mutual aid project, in your community? Maybe. I don't know what that is. At one point, my thing was I was placed in a situation where I was able to do a big thing and change the world, but that came out of sheer happenstance, and situation. And like everybody can do something big or small.
I like it. Do what you can, when you can, where you can, for as long as you can.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. All right. So, anything you want to say, anything you want to add, anything you want to plug, I'll definitely put a link to your channel down below. Um,
Yeah, I think the main thing I want to plug is obviously the YouTube channel. So that is XY Chelsea. So it's youtube.com/XY Chelsea. The other thing, although I think sometimes it requires a C, I can't tell whether or not YouTube is trying, whether it's youtube.com/C/XY Chelsea. There's like a thing going on with their links that they're changing up. The other thing that I want to plug is my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/XYChelsea87. And of course, my Patreon, which is patreon.com/XYChelsea. And that is increasingly turning into my main source of income. Not quite there yet, but the more subs that I get, the more content I can produce, and the more free time I have, because then I can do less and less of my day job.
Makes sense. All right. Well, I really appreciate you you taking the time to talk to us. And yeah, the concept of the channel, it sounds great. I mean, I was really interested when I heard about it on Jen's thing. Um, so yeah, I wish you all the luck in the world with it, and let me know if there's anything we can do to help.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't even have my my channel on, my camera on, did I?
No, I thought that was intentional.
Oh no. Oops. Oh well.
If you want, you can turn it on and wave to everybody.
All right. Yeah, just me. It's me having a boomer moment with Skype. All right, there we go. I got dressed up and everything. Oh well. All right. Well, I have the next thing anyway. I'm doing my TikTok now. All right.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Bo. Big fan of the channel, by the way.
All right. Thank you. All right, everybody. That's it. It's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.